watching GVTV News.
Thanks, Gloria, and I'm Randy Hansen. In today's world news headlines, Egypt's opposition rejects constitution vote, and Morsi gives army arrest powers. And in Afghanistan, female official shot dead amid mounting attacks on government figures. And a report says U.S. military has detained more than 200 Afghan youths. The UN climate talks conclude with weak deal to extend Kyoto Protocol. The death toll from Philippines typhoon rises to nearly 650, hundreds still missing. And in the Balkans, 6 dead amid heavy snow and freezing cold. And protesters blast awarding of Nobel Peace Prize to European Union. And Chavez picks potential successor before returning to Cuba for cancer surgery. And Senator Corker says GOP could relent on tax hikes in bid to slash benefits. In California, 5 dead after shooting rampage on Native American reservation. The Supreme Court to hear 2 same-sex marriage cases, and same-sex couples wed on historic day in Washington State. And a film, Harvest of Empire, among winners of International Documentary Awards. GVTV News is broadcast on Grass Valley Television Division of Rural Counties Television Network, whose focus is on community involvement. We also air on NCTV, but before these stories, GVTV News would like to thank one of our underwriters who support your only visual video news media in Nevada County. That's right, it's us, GVTV News. In today's first world news story, the political crisis in Egypt is deepening as critics of President Mohamed Morsi have continued to reject his bid for a referendum and draft a constitution passed by an Islamic-dominated panel. Morsi has given the army power to arrest people and ordered them to protect state institutions ahead of the vote set for December 15th. At least 7 people have died in clashes and hundreds of thousands have taken to the streets since Morsi granted himself sweeping powers in a decree last month. Morsi attempted to appease the mounting turmoil Sunday by rescinding most of the decree's provisions, but the move has not stopped his opponents from calling for a fresh round of mass protests starting Tuesday. The head of Egypt's lawyers syndicate spoke on behalf of the main opposition group on Sunday. Sama Ashur said the National Salvation Front announces its complete rejection of the referendum scheduled for December 15th, and it asserts its rejection of the referendum that is sure to increase strife and divisions. In Afghanistan, a senior female official was shot to death by unidentified gunmen after 5 months after her predecessor was killed in a bomb attack. Nadia Siddiqa, acting head of the Women's Affairs Department in the Eastern Province, was killed on her way to work. Her son told Reuters authorities had repeatedly ignored her request for protection, fueling concerns the government is disregarding the safety of female officials. In a separate attack Monday, the police chief of another province was killed by a roadside bomb. The New York Times says the Taliban has stepped up their targeting of Afghan officials in recent years, with UN data showing more than 300 people were assassinated last year, the most since 2001. Meanwhile, the U.S. service member was killed Sunday in a rescue mission that freed a captured American doctor, becoming the latest in at least 385 international troops to die in this year. In news from Afghanistan, U.S. military has detained more than 200 teenagers at a prison near the Bagram airfield, accusing them of being enemy combatants. The U.S. report submitted to the United Nations says the young people, most of them about 16, have been detained for several stays in a year in order to prevent a combatant from returning to the battlefield. Some critics say the alleged combatants are as young as 11 to 12 years old. When the last report was submitted in 2008, just 10 young people were being held in the prison under George W. Bush's administration. Thousands of young people were detained, almost all of them in Iraq. The United Nations Climate Change Summit wrapped up this weekend in Doha with no new commitments from the United States to reduce carbon emissions or provide aid to countries suffering the worst impacts of climate change. The final deal saw the extension of binding emission cuts under the Kyoto Protocol for a second commitment period, but only a fraction of the world's greenhouse gas emissions are covered. Several countries, including Japan and Canada, had opted out of the protocol, which the United States never ratified. Critics said the deal reached by nearly 200 countries was far too weak to avoid the deadly impacts of the catastrophic climate change. Alden Meyer of the Union of Concerned Scientists criticized the summit's outcome during a news conference. He said, "There were some winners here. The coal industry won here, the oil industry won here, the fossil fuel industry won here. You saw it display the power of these industries and their short-term profit motivation to dominate the governments of the world. This wasn't an environmental or a science-driven discussion. This was a trade fair. This was a who's going to share the spoils of the world as we drill in the Arctic and produce tar sands in Canada and mine coal in Indonesia for China. This is not the future we need to leave for our children." The UN climate talks in Doha concluded the death toll from the devastating devastating typhoon in the Philippines continues to soar, from 650 reported dead and about 900 missing. I think it's up another 100 by now. Greenpeace International Executive Director Kumi Nadu condemned the lack of action in Doha in the face of these deadly impacts and said, "Our governments must realize that these failures is a betrayal of the people in the Philippines and around the world that face the climate impacts now, today, and will continue in the days to come. But what is at stake is not some ethereal thing called the planet, the climate, the environment, but what at stake is selling down our children and grandchildren's future." The latest potential sign of climate turmoil, freezing temperatures and heavy snowfall, had blasted the Balkans, killing at least 6 people. Croatian authorities said the snowfall was the heaviest in nearly 60 years, while hundreds of people in Serbia were evacuated after being trapped inside their vehicles. And in Oslo, Norway, protesters carrying lit torches flooded the city streets Sunday night to condemn today the award-winning Nobel Peace Prize of the European Union. They criticized the European Union for demanding the harsh austerity cuts in Greece and condemned its member state for exporting a major share of the world's weapons. The European Union is receiving the award for its historic role in uniting the continent, but the selection has been controversial, with critics saying European arms sales and use of military force, including support for the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan, are in direct violation of Alfred Nobel's will. Venezuela's President Hugo Chavez has announced that he is returning to Cuba for more cancer surgery and endorsed Vice President Nicolas Maduro as his potential successor if he is unable to continue to lead. Maduro is a former bus driver and union leader who has previously served as Venezuela's foreign minister. Chavez was expected to make the trip back to Cuba on Sunday after saying his cancer had returned. President Obama met with House Speaker John Boehner Sunday for talks aimed to avoid the so-called fiscal cliff of spending cuts and tax increases. The meeting comes as a rising number of Republicans are suggesting the party should heed Obama's call of higher tax rates for the wealthiest Americans in exchange for potential slash to benefit programs. Speaking to Fox News Sunday, Tennessee Senator Bob Corker suggested Republicans should concentrate on cutting so-called entitlements such as Medicare and Medicaid. And he said, "A lot of people are putting forth a theory, I actually think it was merit, where you go ahead and give the president the 2% increase he's talking about, the rate increase on the top 2%, and all of a sudden the shift goes back to entitlements." 5 people are dead after a gunman opened fire on a Native American reservation in Central California. Hector Calleja killed his mother, her 2 brothers, and his 8-year-old daughter, Elisa. He also wounded Elisa's brother and sister. Calleja was attempting to flee with his 2 daughters when he was fatally injured in a shootout with police early Sunday. U.S. Supreme Court has agreed to take up the issue of same-sex marriage by hearing 2 cases challenging federal and state laws that restrict marriage rights. One case challenges California's same-sex marriage ban, Proposition 8, while the second concerns the Federal Defense of Marriage Act, or DOMA, which denies federal benefits to married same-sex couples. 9 states and Washington, D.C. have legalized same-sex marriage, including 3 of them by popular vote during last month's election. And on Sunday, scores of same-sex couples in Washington state got married on the first day it was legally allowed. Newlywed Jessie Page was among them. She said, "To celebrate the love that we have for one another, not only through our families and friends, but also through the court system in Washington State. It's an exceptional opportunity to have everyone here to recognize it, but our union is really, truly between each other. The documentary Harvest of Empire, based on the book by Democracy Now!'s Juan Gonzalez, has won an award for the best use of archival footage at the International Documentary Awards ceremony in Los Angeles. Film uses rarely seen archival material to reveal the direct connection between the long history of U.S. intervention in Latin America, today's immigration crisis. Other winners include The Island President, about ousted Maldives President Mohamed Nasheed, in a special environmental category, and Searching for Sugar Man, about the musician Rodriguez, for Best Feature. And that's it for World News today. Now another thanks to one of our underwriters who supports your only visual video news media in Nevada County. That's right, it's us. GVTV News.
Soundcheck Music Center, the rock and roll connection. We have guitars, amps, drum equipment, sound accessories, lessons, and repairs. We are located at 671 Maltman Drive, Grass Valley. 530-272-7236, open 7 days a week.
No one needs anyone, they don't even just pretend. John is an American. I'm afraid of Americans. I'm afraid of the world. I'm afraid I can't help it. I'm afraid I can't. I'm afraid of Americans. I'm afraid of the world. I'm afraid I can't.
That's right, it's time for the police blotter. Pictures in the blotter not from these actual events, but used for visual aid only. These public records are obtained from daily logs issued from Nevada County law enforcement. Grass Valley Police Department on Tuesday, 6:32 a.m. A report was taken 400 block of Kate Hayes Street of hearing a woman scream, then start crying. 2 men were following her. She could not be located. 7:29 a.m. A report was taken 100 block of Mainhart Drive of hearing a gunshot. Nothing suspicious was located. 9:57 a.m. A report was taken 400 block of Crown Point Circle requesting extra patrols for trespassers. And 10:14 a.m. a report was taken from Butler and Minnie Streets of a man with an open container yelling strange things. He was advised to stay inside. 10:41 a.m. a report was taken 200 block of South School Street of theft of a tent and tarp. And 11:06 a.m. a report was taken 200 block of South Church Street of finding drugs. 11:40 a.m. a report was taken 600 block of Wall Street of possible trespassing issues. And 12:57 p.m. a report was taken 300 block of Mill Street of a burglary to a vehicle and to property. And 1:03 p.m. a report was taken 400 block of South Church Street of finding drugs on campus. And 2:22 p.m. a report was taken 2300 block of Nevada City Highway of a loose dog with 40 feet of rope tied to it in the parking lot. 5:09 p.m. a report was taken Olympia Park Road and Sutton Way of a man defecating in the middle of the road. He could not be located. 5:24 p.m. a woman from 600 block of South Auburn Street reported having been assaulted. 5:36 p.m. a report was taken 200 block of Colfax Avenue with 2 men in a physical fight before leaving on foot together. They had been drinking and were okay. And 8:53 p.m. a report was taken 300 block of Sutton Way of theft of a Honda Civic. At 11:25 p.m. a report was taken 100 block of Mill Street of 2 men in a physical fight who left before officers arrived. And Wednesday, 12:20 a.m. a report was taken 200 block of Arcadia Drive of hearing his gate open and hearing something in the backyard, but no one was located. 12:59 a.m. a report was taken 400 block of South Church Street of 2 people trespassing. And 1:29 a.m. a report was taken 700 block of South Auburn Street of theft of a laptop 5 days ago. Nevada County Sheriff's Office on Tuesday. 10:17 a.m. a woman from the 11,000 block of Myrna Drive reported her neighbors were petting and feeding her cats without her permission. And 10:39 a.m. a woman from 10,000 block of Logue Lane reported a woman pushed and shoved her husband. The parties were separated. 11:19 a.m. a report was taken 27,000 block of Highway 49 of an assault. And 12:01 p.m. a report was taken 14,000 block of Alderwood Way of theft of medication from a residence. And 12:47 p.m. a man from 12,000 block of Francis Drive reported people were following him and trying to beat him up. And 12:49 p.m. a report was taken 15,000 block of Storm Lane of assault on December 2nd. And 1:56 p.m. a report was taken 10,000 block of Walker Drive of an assault. And 2:10 p.m. a man from 18,000 block of Piper Lane complained of a neighbor slaughtered a pig and left the remains on his property. And 2:44 p.m. a report was taken 23,000 block of Snow Tent Road of a resident who had been broken into and weapons stolen. And 3:07 p.m. a report was taken 19,000 block of Connie Drive of a man had been cleaning a gun and accidentally shot himself in a lake. 3:43 p.m. a report was taken from 16,000 block of Kiwi Road of theft of an off-road motorcycle. 4:41 p.m. a report was taken Rancho Negada Lane of a juvenile who was pounding on a door and trying to break in. The situation was mediated. At 7:08 p.m. a caller reported that the teen just pulled a gun on his father. It was a pellet gun. The juvenile was arrested for unknown charges. 5:18 p.m. a report was taken 12,000 block of Rough and Ready Highway of multiple vehicles and people on property that should be vacant. No one was located. And 5:39 p.m. a report was taken Dixon and Squirrel Creek Roads of hearing 2 gunshots. 5:40 p.m. a woman from Lake Wildwood Drive reported a man had been off his meds and punching her and her mother. He was taken to the hospital. 7:24 p.m. a man from 17,000 block of Pennycourt reported his girlfriend threw a PlayStation at him, then left, possibly en route to a bar. And 7:36 p.m. a man from 12,000 block of Rough and Ready Highway reported men firing off guns and yelling. He called back to say they were shooting fireworks and keeping his baby awake. It was quiet when deputies arrived. 8:20 p.m. report was taken 10,000 block of Alta Sierra Drive of a truck in a parking lot. He said that it was an ongoing issue of people drinking, smoking marijuana, and having intercourse. And 11 p.m. a report was taken 24,000 block of Highway 49. A juvenile was assaulting a staff member. The juvenile was arrested on unknown charges. And Wednesday, 6:49 a.m. report was taken for Peardale Road and Meadow View Drive of hot wire fell on top of a school bus with students inside. The wire was removed. Nevada City Police Department on Tuesday, 9:37 a.m. report was taken 400 block of Washington Street of theft of garbage cans. And 2:18 p.m. a report was taken business 200 block of Broad Street of being defrauded. And 4:36 p.m. report was taken 300 block of Sacramento Street of theft of a cell phone and a business check. And that's it for the blotter today. Now another thanks to one of our underwriters who supports your only visual video news media in Nevada County. You guessed it, GVTV News. Christopher's Old World Deli and Catering Company has brought its delicious food and service downtown Grass Valley. Like desserts? They got 'em. You like international style lunches? They got 'em. Christopher's Deli and Catering for parties, get-togethers, weddings, or whatever. Open 7 days a week. In today's local headlines, online sales are flatlining at newspaper. With the total ad sales sliding 5.1% in the third quarter of this year, newspapers have set some sort of record in the annals of American business by having their primary revenue stream fall for 25 quarters in a row. In 75 months of unremitting declines, the industry consolidated advertising sales have plunged from all-time high $49.4 billion in 2005 to what I estimate to have no better than $22.5 billion in 2012. The year-end revenue projection is based on historic trends. It is a testimony of the legendarily high operating margins of the industry and the considerable cost-slashing skills of contemporary publishers that nearly all the newspapers in the business in mid-2006, when the trouble began, are still plugging along today. But no industry ever cut its way to success, and the question, as newspapers mark 6+ straight years of contracting revenues, is what, if anything, are they going to do to turn things around? The nearly universal answer we have heard from editors and publishers is that they are going to transition from print to digital publishing. That is the right answer, but the objective record shows that to date they have manifestly blown the opportunity. Let's look at the numbers. On the eve of Thanksgiving weekend, the Newspaper Association of America quietly updated its website on Wednesday to report the print advertising revenues in the third quarter fell by 6.4% from the prior year of $4.5 billion, lowest level for a period since 1982. To put the decline in perspective, $4.5 billion in 1982 dollars would be worth more than $10.3 billion today. On the plus side, the NAA, a publisher fund trading organization, reported that digital revenues advanced by 3.6% in the third quarter, a bit under $759 million. But the $23.5 million year-to-gain date and digital sales was too small to offset the $311 million year-to-drop print revenues. Thus, newspapers in the quarter lost more than $13 million in print revenue for every $1 gained, or $13 for every dollar gained. Unfortunately, as illustrated in the chart, the pivot from the print to pixels has been far too feeble for the last 6 years digital sales to come anywhere close to the replacing print revenue. After peaking at an all-time high in 2005, print ad sales at newspapers began what would prove to be a 6-year drive in the middle of the next year, falling by 2.6% to $11.2 billion in the third quarter of 2006. Means print sales in the third quarter of this year will be $6.6 billion lower than they were in the comparative period in 2006, reflecting a 59.5% decline. In the same 6-year time frame, digital sales in newspapers rose 19%, with the $6.6 billion drop in print revenue dwarfing the $121 million increase in digital sales. But wait, it gets worse. As illustrated in the green line along the bottom of the chart that I put up there earlier, digital advertising growth at newspapers has been all but flat in the last 6 years. At the same time, the overall market for digital advertising has grown explosively. While the Internet Advertising Bureau has not yet reported digital sales for the third quarter of this year, I've projected that the historic trends published by the trade associations that the figures will come in approximately $9 billion in the period. Assuming the projection is correct, the overall market for digital advertising between quarter 3 '06 and quarter 3 '12 grew by 114%, while digital sales at the newspaper increased by only 19% in the same period. One of the reasons newspapers are underperforming the market is that they have built their interactive business on the two weakest digital advertising categories, banner and classified advertising. As reported in page 21 of the IAB presentation, the percentage of digital ad dollars spent on banner advertising in the first half of the year has dropped annually for the last 3 years. Percentage of dollars spent on online classified advertising has tumbled by more than half since 2006. The single most significant digital ad category is search, which consistently has accounted for nearly half of all expenditures since 2008, according to IAB. Notwithstanding the growth desire of advertisers of all stripes and targets, specifically identifiable customers, transactional search is a format which newspapers never invested and never have been able to compete. But their inaction publishers have been shut out of nearly half the digital market. Now the same thing appears to have happened again. The IAB reports that mobile advertising has doubled in each of the last 3 years. Most newspapers have only rudimentary capabilities in this rapidly developing area. Publishers also are weak contenders in video, the next biggest area of growth after mobile. The challenges will keep coming. Not the least of them will be the innovative target marketing capabilities bound to develop by Facebook, Twitter, and dozens of other social medias in capitalizing on their expanding of audiences. We put ourselves on Facebook. Hope you enjoy us there. And who knows what lies beyond. While publishers are preoccupied with managing the epic decline in print, they're losing sight of the future. And that's it today for GVTV News. That's it for local news today. We would like to thank Amy Goodman, Reuters, Associated Press, Ubinet, Sierra Foothills Report, the Union, local law enforcement, and others for the sourcing of our news, and you for watching. Remember, we are the only visual video news media in Nevada County, and we are free for you to watch 7 days a week. If you have local stories and would like to have them aired on our news, please email us with a limit the story to 750 words, and if you have pictures, please include them in the email to grassvalleytelevision@gmail.com. Please include some type of contact information for verification of facts. You can watch this broadcast on Comcast Cable, NCTV, Channel 11 in Nevada County, 8 a.m., 3 p.m., 7:30 p.m., Monday through Friday, 10:30 a.m., Saturday and 8 p.m. Sunday, and Suddenlink Channel 16 in Truckee and Altamira, same times. We also are streamed on the internet, NCTV's Digital Media Center website at nevadacountytv.org and our website, gvtv.org. And don't forget Grass Valley Television that plays 24/7 on the net, grassvalleytelevision.com. We post to Facebook, YouTube, blip.tv, and many other sites, and have RSS feed and video podcast on iTunes. Just search under video podcast for GVTV News. Grass Valley Television also videotapes local events around Nevada County. If you have a need for video, you can contact us for more info at grassvalleytelevision@gmail.com or 530-362-8889. This show produced by Grass Valley Television of Rural Counties Television Network. We hope you will stay tuned to us for this next season, as we're going to spice up the news in the future. You can always email us ideas and comments, and if you like us on Facebook, we like that. News Player can be embedded on your site, or you can go to our sites, which we already mentioned. Due to the lack of underwriters this year, we will be doing 3 shows a week, playing Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, Saturday, Sunday editions. We should be expanding when we get more community support.